Орієнтирую вас по ситуації, що склалася на цю годину. Таким чином, сили АТО.
So the forces of anti-terrorist operation are sticking to the conditions of the plan of peaceful settlements in settlement in the east of Ukraine. They provide for the defense of the state border, and they also continue to man road checks. They are not engaged in any offensive actions, and they use the arms only if there is a armed attack at a Ukrainian formation or at peaceful population. Over the last 24 hours, in the 6 designated districts of Donetsk and Luhansk region, where the ATO forces are stationed, there were attacks against military personnel and tech and machinery. Four attacks against road checks and 4 against our machinery that was moving between locations, and as a result 5 Ukrainian servicemen were wounded and 1 border guard. During the attacks, the militants are using rifles, small firing arms. They also use mortars and artillery. It is very important to know that the militants are using the weapons that the Ukrainian armed forces do not have, including 12.7 sniper rifles, Vychlop. We also have information that recently the actions of militants became much more active in the vicinity of the border with the Russian Federation. They are launching attacks from the territory that borders on the state border of Ukraine, thus provoking our forces to retaliate with fire and then to blame our servicemen of firing on the territory of Russian Federation. What is the situation now? Were there any firing and shootings today? The situation today remains tense. The forces that take part in the anti-terrorist operation are manning road checkpoints and are providing for the protection of the state border. During the weekend, we had information that practically along the entire state border, the control was possible to organize. Yes, on the territory that is adjacent to the state border of Ukraine, only the forces of the anti-terrorist operation are located, and they have the task to provide for the protection of the state border of Ukraine and to provide for the support of the border guards. And the terrorists themselves said that they will continue the active offensive actions. What we see now is the game going into one goal. Are we ready to repel the attack if they would want to use this week-long ceasefire? Are we ready to repel the attack? Yes, according to the plan of the settlement of the situation in the eastern regions of Ukraine, the President of Ukraine and his Commander-in-Chief Petro Poroshenko allowed the ATO forces to use the weapons in cases when the attacks are launched against Ukrainian military units or peaceful population, and when they want to break through the state border. We have a question. Do you have information about the readiness of the part of militants to lay down their arms, or maybe there were such cases. Can you repeat your question? Do you have information on the preparedness of part of the militants to lay down their arms? This information is being monitored by operative sources, but it does need double checking. The matter is that the actions of the ATO forces do stimulate the militants to raise the issue in such a way, but of course there are different fragments in their milieu, so we have to really double check and be sure that they want to lay down their arms, and after they have laid down their arms. So at the moment we don't have such information. At this hour we don't have this information. How does the evacuation of people take place from Donbass? Because we have information that in Donbass, for instance, the railway stations are filled with people. As far as the questions about the displacement of peaceful people through corridors from the territories that are still under the control of militants, I can tell you that this is taking place at the interdepartmental level, and the ATO forces are responsible for providing for the security of those people with the help of countermeasures. The matter is that the activity of subversive groups of militants in the region of ATO is aimed at disrupting the peaceful plan. They continue their subversive actions. They fire at our road checks and columns of our technical machinery. And the last question from the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center: do they see the new war machinery entering the country from this side of the Russian Federation? We don't have an official confirmation of this. The forces of ATO provide for the protection and defense of the state border at many districts. We do not have any information about what you're saying. Any questions? No. Thank you. We are waiting for your new appearance about the realization of the peaceful plan of the president. Thank you very much. Stay connected. Thank you. Goodbye.